Well, joined now by Mr. Segun Sowunmi, who is a member of PDP, and he was the former DG, Jonathan Sambo Campaign Organization in Osun State. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Nigerians.
Well, we had all of this talk about militarization. In fact, I hear some people tweeting saying that, yes, for the fact that the military was even there, some people may have been intimidated and, of course, scared to come out and vote. So he does not, Mr. Gala does not support the use of military in elections. What do you think?
You know, when you hear the APC speak before an election, if you are the president of that country and you really mean to ensure that human lives is protected and the sanctity of the electoral process is also protected, you will have no alternative but to provide some level of support to ensure that there is no brigandage. The reason is that this party called APC, first of all, they don't know how to lose, neither do they know how to win. When they lost in Ekiti, they shouted to the heavens. It was stomach infrastructure, as if they don't eat in their homes, as if they don't feed their followers, just because they lost. The build-up to Osun, they were screaming, the heavens are going to fall. They even elevated Togri to state policy. You will hear their governor make comments like state boys. What does that mean? And the president, who happens to be a fair-minded, stable character fellow, taught in his wisdom that, look, whatever is required to give the country the opportunity to constantly evolve and do better with his election will be provided. What did they do? They feared even their own shadows. They started screaming, oh, militarization. Soldiers are not letting them walk. They're not letting them vote. They're not letting them sleep. They're not letting them eat. At the end of the day, they have won that election. We have accepted that, yes, the president has accepted that this is what it's all about. And yes, we may not be comfortable with the military presence on election day, but we need to remind ourselves, absolutely, that it takes time for democratic culture to be imbibed by all of the people, especially the politicians. And as we go on, we will begin to relax and release some of these things. But you say, I don't blame them. They don't really understand the responsibility that's on the shoulder of a president. In one breath, he's a member of a party. Like any party man, he desires his party to win, and whatever he needs to do, he will try. But as president, he has the responsibility to make sure that, one, the electoral process is free, fair, transparent, and easy. He has a responsibility to make sure that at least while that process is going on, because it's a little bit a heightened time, it's not the usual everyday thing, that process must be provided with enough security. Now, what constitutes enough security?
No, I think that it's very important for us to ask the questions here, because you're already beginning to, answer and ask the questions.
There's one. Let's even get. Pardon me. Mr. Gala claimed he was not there, yes. But there's someone who I believe was also part of that elections, and let's hear his comments and get your reaction on it.
We will celebrate this victory over tyranny, the abuse of power, the misuse of public resources. It is not an acceptable standard of operation. Is our liberty subject to gunpoint? APC is the kill for this tyranny. It's for change.
Okay, in that initial part, he was speaking about the use of military as well. So also thinking that it presented a gunpoint kind of situation.
Yes, it is like Bola Tinubu's character to exaggerate anything that he thinks he needs to exaggerate. Why would he, having been governor before, understanding the volatile and sensitive nature and how easy it is for just one action that is not checked to spiral out of control, talk like that? But do you blame him? Bola Tinubu suffers from an overdose of opposition thinking. If they are doing right, it's a problem for them. If they are winning elections, it is a problem for them. When they lose the election, it is a... You know what the problem is? They are incapable of even giving credit to any other person apart from themselves.
Mr. Sowunmi, I was about to ask you a question just before we played that. You raised a very, very pertinent point about the caps that the president wears, you know, as a party man and also as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It can be very difficult, you know, sometimes to differentiate between the two, you know. So how do you think that he can reassure, you know, other members of other political parties that this is not meant to intimidate or harass them, considering also that they're not the only ones saying that soldiers do not belong in elections?
You see, I wish we could try ignorance instead of knowledge. I wish we could actually reverse back to the Osun election, replay it 24 hours before, take out all of the soldiers, the police, and all of that, and leave these politicians to themselves. And then you would have seen the result of what the military does. Sometimes, the presence of the military is not so much to come and arrest or intimidate. It's their physical presence alone is capable of checking some vices. And if you ask me, how does the president assure them? For a person that is willing to be convinced, he could see that effort is going on and that this president has been consistent. He did it in Anambra, PDP lost. We did it in Ondo, PDP lost. We did it in Ekiti. Yes, we won. Should we be a party that will be expected to go to the polls and not win sometimes? We have done it again in Osun. Before the results, they were already, leave the military. Can you imagine the kind of cacophony that they were even saying about INEC even before the elections was conducted? Now the elections have been conducted. Now the results have been announced. They have defeated us with about 100,000 votes. And hey, the PDP, we're not screaming. We're not burning tires. We're not asking our followers in Osun State to start misbehaving. We've just told them, take it easy. We'll look at the process. We'll go to court. But if it had been a reversal of role, you saw what happened in Ekiti. Just because we won, they created a new word to put into the lexicon of politics in Nigeria, calling it stomach infrastructure. We could have also said whatever it is that made them win in Osun was Fuji and rascality infrastructure. You see their candidate dancing like he doesn't even know what it means to be regal or what it means to carry the responsibility of. But we didn't say that. We've accepted that, hey, elections are improving in this country. Eventually, we are beginning to see that you cannot wobble into an election and expect to win. We are beginning to see that the personality that is presented and how the society sees him matters. We are beginning to see that all the dynamics are in place. We can convince ourselves that we are not making progress as a nation. But we can say, and we make bold to say, that under President Goodluck Jonathan, if anything, democracy has been given freedom to come to stay and to give the people's will an opportunity to be heard and be heard loudly and clearly.
Providing security, Mr. Sowunmi.
Yes.
Do the security operatives need to be masked? Because that's one of the complaints, that the security operatives are masked. And if anyone shoots anybody, you cannot identify them.
You see, when someone tells you that does a security operative need to be masked, how is it to know what informs that? Our problem in this country is that we go to school to study one thing and we suddenly assume that we have knowledge on all issues. In the first instance, there's a command and control structure that manages every security organization. What do you know that informs how they tell people to dress? Are you able to determine when they tell them to wear camouflage and when they tell them to wear normal uniform? I don't have those answers. It is not for me, neither is it for my party, to be able to say that, oh, if soldiers come on the field, they should not wear the fatigue of war. But what we are saying here is this. As a people, PDP, APC, whatever you may call yourself, we need to begin to understand that nobody is going to build Nigeria for us, and whatever it is that informs or impugns on the way the entire public or the generality of the international community sees this country is a function of the way we believe in our own systems. We cannot always say that everything we do is bad, or even when we take particular notice of our own situation and our tendencies. We cannot say that the provisions we make to ensure that they can cast their vote peacefully and happily is bad. And hey, have you heard them say that anybody was arrested or turned back? They could not have been arrested or turned back from the airport because they went in on time. In Ekiti, what were they trying to do? They wanted to storm by and stroll into the place where a curfew has been imposed. It is natural. You are not going to allow an election that is meant for Osun, for other people from other states to just come and overrun it.
Mr.